corporations who don't seem to pay the same kinds of taxes everyone else pays.
Yeah. Look, if you were running for mayor, I'd be voting for you.
And the way forward, as far as I see it in this country, and you may disagree with me, and we're going to have to wait and see how it all pans out. And obviously, he hasn't won the election yet. It goes through Zohran Mamdani. And I'm not just saying that based on like identity politics or because I like the way he sounds or looks or his youth or whatever it is. I like the things he says. I like the policies he stands for. And I think his vision is the vision that we need moving forward in order to get us out of this slump as a country. And you have a panel here with The View where Whoopi Goldberg, you know, who I always thought of sort of like a center left, center right corporatist. She'll like swing one way on one issue, one way on the other, but always within this sort of like corporate-ist realm. I always sort of, have seen her perspective coming. Maybe I just don't watch enough of her show. But anyway, surprising because she comes out and she is presenting an idea here that you would hear like Zohran Mamdani championing or Bernie Sanders or a true leftist championing. So that kind of caught me off guard. Here's this clip here. Here's this moment. We'll take a look and then we'll discuss.
On day one, why aren't you going to big corporations like Amazon and Google and making sure that they pay what could really help the city raise up and get us where we need to do? Because I need to hear somebody say, because it's the thing nobody says. They say, oh, we're going to make people pay, but they're not clear. They came in, they said, we're going to make these jobs, people are going to have these, they're going to have work, but then they had to fight to unionize because they're not getting paid enough.
Absolutely.
So I don't understand why if the focus is for New Yorkers to be lifted and New York State, to be lifted and put in the right perspective, why the focus isn't on the companies that could be doing a lot more for the places have their places, but it doesn't happen.
Instead of the individual or including the individual tax base? You mean corporations?
As I said, Amazon and Google, corporations who don't seem to pay the same kinds of taxes everyone else pays.
Look, if you were running for mayor, I'd be voting for you. Because I think, Whoopi, to your point, the corporate greed that we're seeing in this country, it cannot be separated from the level of inequality that people are living through. And one of the key revenue proposals I've put forward, our agenda from the day we started was about freezing the rent for more than 2 million tenants, making the slowest buses in the country fast and free, delivering universal childcare. So no longer would a family pay $25,000 a year just to find childcare for one kid.
Look, if you just take, if Zohran is able to be successful on just those three issues alone will help millions and millions of people in that city have a better shot at a dignified, fulfilling life, right? Free and fast transportation in order to get yourself to, conservatives always talk about, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go get to work. Well, it's like, people want to go to work. They have ambitions, they have desires, they have drives. But if you don't provide them the bus, the transportation, the railway, whatever it is from point A to point B, they don't have access to it. Well, then they're fucked. And so what do you want? You want to say like, fuck you to all these people, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but then not give them anywhere to go. Zohran Mamdani is the capitalist dream of saying, well, you want more workers, you want more people in the system, providing and working for that system. Give them a means to be able to do that. Give them the opportunity, give them the bare minimum so that they can actually follow through and do those things, right? So that it's a simple formula, but it's people shit on it and they scream socialism and they say, oh, we're gonna pick ourselves up and you want to raise taxes on us by 0.1%. No, we're gonna riot and we're gonna take our companies and move them out of New York City and we're gonna go to Oklahoma or Tennessee or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, okay, good luck with that. And Zohran is going to address that as well.
And what we've said is that two of the main ways we'd pay for it, one of them would be to raise the top corporate tax rate. This is a corporate tax rate that applies to the most profitable companies that do business in the state, like the ones that you've named, to that of New Jersey. So it would just match that of our neighbor, 11.5% that they have over there. By matching our neighbor, we would raise $5 billion a year. And that would be money we could reinvest into working and middle-class New Yorkers' lives so that everyone could afford it.
So you don't think that would drive them out of the city then?
No, so the nature of our tax law is that applies to any business doing business here. They could be headquartered in Miami, But if they're doing business here, it applies to them. And the reason that I believe they'll keep doing business here is because this is one of the largest economies in the world. Right. Everyone wants to be here.
And when you talk about, because people think everybody that makes money does not care about the city. And sometimes I think it's important for folks, when you're talking about raising taxes also on people, because the people who have money keep the city going.
Yeah.
And sometimes people feel pushed out of the city because the zillions that they're paying, whether it's for the MTA, for the bus, for the this, doesn't seem to be appreciated. So I just want to make sure that you understand people want to make the city work. And people will back you if everybody is paying their fair share.
Absolutely.
If everybody pays, then I don't mind paying. If just some folks are paying, I'm not happy.
And Amazon is not paying, then you're not happy.
Right. You know, okay.
And I think it's exactly as both of you have said, right? You look at some of these companies who are making the most amount of money in the world. And you're asking, why are they facing less regulation than the bodega on my corner?
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No.
And that's why you have
You're
to
gonna fix it.
Yes. You have to have a policy that, on the one hand, makes it easier for a small business to flourish. You cut fines and fees by 50%. You say no longer does a person who wants to open a barbershop have to fill out 24 forms, go to 7 agencies, go to 12 in-person events. You actually make it easier to be an entrepreneur, and you ensure that these companies that are making money hand over fist are actually paying their fair share.
And you're going to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely brilliant. And guys, I just want to think for a second. I just want to compare and contrast. Think about when you had Kamala Harris do her View episode and the absolute train wreck disaster that it was for her campaign, where she comes out there and they say, well, what are you going to do differently? How do you think your presidency is going to be different than Joe Biden's? And she said, like, not one bit, or like, I can't think of a single thing I would do differently. Everything was scripted. Everything was awkward and rambly and word salad. And the presentation is just awful. Where on the other side, you have Zohran Mamdani coming out. He is, there's not a question that goes by him that he doesn't have a concise and detailed and energetic and nuanced answer for, that he's able to just say, yeah, this is what's happening. People are getting screwed. People are getting fucked. Yeah, the rich are not paying their fair share. The corporations are not paying their fair share. Wealth inequality is exploding. And I have solutions for them. And here's what they are: point A, point B, point C. And they're going to work because of this. I mean, the presentation and that whole thing takes place in, 30 to 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Then he's able to make his point, get in and get out, and convince you and show you, hey, this guy deserves a chance to implement this vision, because I think it's going to work. I think it's the right vision, but we have to still convince people. We have to go in and implement it. But you won't even get the chance to implement it if you're not able to convince people in the outright. And that's what I think Mamdani has as well. He has the delivery, he has the ideology, he has the energy. I just think he is the momentum that we need at this point, not just for Democrats or Republicans or independent, but just as the United States of America. I think that's the way to go. You might disagree. I think it's an interesting conversation. Happy to know what you guys think in the comments.